So it's the idea and your hard work that matters the most. Then secondary, it's the capital.
Absolutely, execution is the king. So more than the idea, it's about how you go about, how you hustle, how you kind of get there. Keep at it is very important.
Thank you so much again for your insight. I would like to talk about the product. Like, how did you got your product market fit? Like, when were you sure this will work? Because I believe that when you had started in 14, in 15, there was a need for the product. The product was also meeting the expectations and requirements of the consumer. But still, I think that consumer must would have thought twice to buy the product or not buy. So when did you go? How did you got your PM?
Yeah, so in any product that is or service that is absolutely new in the market, you will go through the iterations. You will pivot. You will improve it. You will pivot. You will improve it. So there will be you will. It's inevitable that you'll go through these cycles. How many such cycles and how quickly can you innovate and pivot to get to the product market fit is something that is dependent upon how you go about doing your hustle. But it is inevitable that you'll go through it in any innovative service or solution you're trying to crack.
So you've mentioned pivot that you had to do it multiple times.
Yeah.
So from starting out to a venture to launching your first product, approximately how many times you had to pivot your entire business?
I think major pivots, I would say 3 to 4. When I say pivots, it would mean that change in technology. And, it's been evolving. Like Bluetooth 15 years back was so nascent that we evaluated it at that time, but the technology was not capable of handling this use case.
Okay.
So when Bluetooth as a technology evolved, we said now is the time to get there. We are working on at least 5 to 6 cutting edge technologies today, which most people may not be even aware of. But it may not be fully.
I'm sorry to cut you in the middle, but you said 4 or 5 other type of technology which people would have been known of.
Yeah.
So what were these? Like, could you give 1 or 2 examples?
So I'll give you an example of LoRaWAN, for example. In LoRaWAN, you basically create your own mini telecom network. So we are working with construction companies, for example, to track workers, or we are working with mining companies to track miners, because in these kind of sites, usually you don't have very good network coverage, like in mining areas or in construction sites. So what can be done is we have created a little tracker which goes on the helmet.
Okay.
It has a lot of safety features like man down, SOS, alerts, emergency evacuation. Apart from tracking the worker, his whereabouts, his movements, and so on.
So I see that there's a lot of ground knowledge or groundwork which you've done. I'm pretty sure that you must have been on the construction side or the miners side.
Yeah.
So how do you observe in such a way that you identify that there is a problem and here's a chance and here's a solution to the problem?
Yeah, that's where all the consulting experience comes in. I think you learn a lot by talking to the people who are doing it day in and day out. So there is, in consulting parlance, it's primary research, which is critical. Even today, we love going back to the users, talking to them about what's happening, how do you use it, what do you like, what you don't like about the solution, and how we can improve it. So that's a continuous journey. It is not that you've got the product technology and it's done. It has to continuously improve, and we need to continuously look at other options available that can be incorporated and baked in our solution.
So I'll come to a general question. Many founders have a way of finding their product market fit. One is they talk to their consumers, like, you have a problem, I have a problem, and here's my solution to it. The second way is, I've made a product, you test it. How do you find it? Like, was it helpful to you or not? So which out of these two ways you think is more prominent and that every founder?
Steve Jobs said that if he went to people with the iPhone or the iPad, people would think it is silly, because at that point in time people could not have visualized the power of what the device can bring in. But as an entrepreneur, you have the vision and you have the belief that this one day can change the way people kind of do everything. In today's world, you spend most of your time on these devices. Nobody would have thought that when Steve Jobs actually launched that product. So it really depends upon what are you trying to bring to the market. Basis that you will know whether which way to go. If you're bringing something absolutely innovative, which the customers may not be able to visualize, then it's best to believe in your gut feel and drive that. But at the same time, user feedback and user testing is critical at every stage of developing even such products.
But let's coming bring it down to D2C. For D2C product, let's say now I think that people can visualize it to a certain extent with the advent of the technology, the awareness among the people. When it comes to specifically to D2C, which is the appropriate criteria?
See, D2C is not a product, it's a channel.
It's a
So D2C is a very well established channel now. Now, what is your product and is it solving somebody's problem? Now you have, for example, someone who's really done well in D2C, for example, all your personal care products. Now that's something that you have certain expectations. You are basically going to need these products on an ongoing basis. So you engage with these brands, you try these products out, and then if you like them, you're going to be a regular consumer of these products. So D2C is a great way to reach out, especially when you're talking. Your products are required to talk directly with the user and give that experience to them.
Okay. For if we see that it's a toothpaste, so like it is in the market, it is out there, it's the need. So for like for a brand, let's say if we don't take toothpaste and if we take a cream, a face wash or a different kind of face wash and all. For those type of products, I believe that showing a product and then finding a product market is a reasonable way. But from what I've learned and what I've heard, that ideally you should talk to your customers first, even though it is B2C, and then launch a product. So it is kind of contradicting, or maybe I am.
See, so like I said, D2C is a channel. So you don't have to talk to people to say whether D2C will succeed or not. But what is the product you're going to ride on? So let's say Lenskart today is a direct to consumer brand. D2C, given that it is able to communicate directly with the consumer, there are possibilities of personalization, there are possibilities of understanding your and providing you with an experience which is custom to your preference. Yeah. So I would say if you are to leverage the benefits of what the inherent D2C channel brings, I would say then your product should do well on the channel.
Okay. So yeah. So from what I'm getting is a lot of talking with consumers, with with whom you are going to sell is going to happen, is going to help a lot. Okay. So now why don't we kind of compare, like if I go in the market and I buy a wallet, and if I come to Tag8 and buy the wallet, what would be the price?
So our wallets are in the range of 2,500 to 3,500. I would say that is say maybe the mass premium range. Wallets you can get for as low as $500, I would guess. Branded products you'll get at between 1,500 to 5,000 rupees. So that's the range we are at.
There is a bit premium.
Yeah.
And I think that the premium comes from the cost of technology.
That's
could you give me the ratio of your technology cost to compare to other costs?
So
in wallet.
In a wallet, I think the cost of technology would be 70%, and the cost of the product would be 30%.
30. And comparing both of the products, one having one is a Tag8's product and another is a normal wallet, what is the durability?
So these wallets are designed for 3 years.
Designed for 3
Yeah.
years.
So you don't have to charge the wallet. The battery has been designed to last for 3 years. What we figured is a typical life of a wallet is about 2 to 3 years. You would replace and change your wallet after that period. So design the battery in a way that after 3 years you anyways can dispose the wallet along with the product. So there is no replacement of the battery. There's no charging required. The wallet will be tracked throughout its life without any charging required.
And is the gross margin same for both the wallets, or you think there is a difference in the margin?
I would say we've tried to keep the margins, tried to keep the product as affordable as we can. So I can't talk about what margins the leather companies have. So I'm not sure about what margins the leather companies usually have, but I mean, for us, what we've tried to do is keep the margins at the minimum, just from the perspective that given it's an innovative new product, people can be more aware by actually adopting and using the product.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll come to this is that with technology, I think, and with the the problem that the technology or the Tag8's product is able to solve. I believe that people will be able to afford that premium, or they willingly will be able to pay the price, because when I go to a market and buy a normal product or a normal wallet, and instead when I go to a Tag8's store and I buy it and I buy a Tag8's wallet, the value I'm getting here is more. So my question here is, were people were people, let's say, able to afford that premium, or they willing to pay the premium?
Oh yes, yeah. So it really depends upon the individual, but we've had cases where people have actually used the Tag8 product as for New Year gifting, Diwali gifting, and so on, because he's liked the product so much after using it that he thought that the whole ecosystem should have this kind of a wallet. We've had a lot of people who've been using our product, buying also some of our other products to secure keychain, to secure passports, and so on. So once you are familiar with the technology, then you suddenly say, okay, I want to track everything.
And manufactured in house or it is outsourced?
Yeah, so the chips actually are coming from the Nordics. Very few suppliers of chips that are there globally. So our chips come from there. The rest of it is something that we kind of build in. So the embedded software, the assembly, all of that happens in house.
And how are these vendor agreements formed, like with when it comes to chips? So what are these kind of agreements? Is it on basis of how many chips you order, or?
Yeah, so they have volume based pricing. Yeah, absolutely.
So now I'll come to operations. Let's say that if tomorrow, or let's say if today I'm traveling in a train and that I've lost wallet and I forget it, or somebody kind of takes it from me or steals my wallet, and after a while I come to know. So what is it that I have to do in order to get my wallet, and what happens at the back end?
So in case of the wallet, like I said, it works very similar to the bag. 90% of the time, you will not lose your wallet because you have a tracker which is connected with your mobile device. As soon as somebody takes the device, not only the wallet will start ringing, but your phone gives you alerts. When the wallet starts ringing, firstly, the whoever is if it is being stolen, the person will get scared and he's likely to kind of just throw it away. So we avoid going into the stage where it's getting stolen and the wallet is away from you. If it actually is stolen,
Yeah.
we have a little reward for finders. So what we have is a little card inside the wallet where we say return for rewards. So what that does is that, let's say if the person is a seasoned criminal and he has stolen your wallet, taken all your money, but what's most important for you in that wallet is all your credit cards, is all your license and membership cards and all of that.
Yeah.
It is such a hassle to kind of get all of that back. Now let's imagine return for reward. It's written in the card. The guy calls our call center. We say we know whom that wallet belongs to.
Okay. Yeah.
We facilitate the return and we reward him.
You reward. Okay.
And you as an owner has the option to additionally reward him. But you and the owner will never, the finder and the owner never meet.
Never meets.
And
okay.
there is a reason for that. We've had so many cases where the finder, who could be a hardened criminal, calls you to pick up the wallet from somewhere which is not safe for you to kind of go. And but because you want it, you take somebody along and still go there, have to deal with these kind of people. So we try to simplify that process as well. At the same time, like I said, we have community search. So if there is anybody around, we anyways get an updated detail of the wallet. In fact, we also have a service where you can download our app and we can track your mobile device. If somebody steals your mobile device, in such situations, we get live tracking of the mobile device.
Okay.
So it's called Digital Tag Find My Phone. That's the product. And in those situations, because let's say if you are getting a GPS location of where that device is, even the cops will need to then file an FIR because we have evidence of where it is. We also have the possibility of actually taking images. So once the phone is declared as lost, we can take an image of the person who's trying to unlock your phone. So when he does unlock twice, an image is taken and sent to you. So you know whom it is with and where it is. And with this information, the cops who otherwise don't file an FIR in case of lost phones, they'll just take your complaint, but they don't file an FIR. In this case, because you have evidence, you can ask them to file FIR.
So what I've understood from both of these examples, if I've lost my wallet, I can intimate you through my mobile.
Yeah.
And if I've lost, but what if I've lost my phone? So how do I intimate you first? Is there a way in which I cut with you?
So that's a classical case, and our service actually has a protection even for your phone. So let's say you are connected to the wallet. The wallet is safe, but you left your phone behind.
Yeah.
As soon as that happens, the wallet will start ringing.
Okay.
So you know you've left your phone behind.
Yeah.
So that way we are also protecting not only your wallet, but we are protecting your phone as well. In fact, we have just launched, and it's an eyewear tracker. And that's the tiniest tracker in the world. With 1.4 grams, it sits on the temple of your eyewear. And eyewear traditionally is the most misplaced valuable.
Yeah.
And the second most misplaced is your phone. So what we've done is we've put the eyewear and the phone together, saying if one is kind of left behind, the other will remind you. It's a great pair in that sense.
So like for a phone, I need to have connection in another device. Is that what you mean to say? Like whether it could be a wallet, it could be my phone, it could be other articles.
Yeah, so all your details can be accessed on the cloud. So from your laptop or other device or any of your ID. So as long as you have the credentials, you can log into the system and get the information.
And if I've lost my phone and it has come into contact with somebody who's in a community search, so how do you get the information with both of their GPS or?
Yeah, see, with the phone, it is very simple because phone has a GPS tracker. Yeah. So all you need to do is log in your credentials on your laptop and you'll know where the phone is.
And how the community helps you in other case, let's say.
So the community comes in because community in case of a Bluetooth device, it is not always connected. So when a community app or a person who's carrying the device with Tag8 application comes in the vicinity of the Bluetooth range, through the phone's GPS, the data gets updated.
And he gets intimate.
No, the owner gets intimate.
Oh no, I'm sorry, the owner gets
Yeah.
intimate.
So the community finders are anonymously helping us. So it's that's
Oh,
how.
that's a very great move. You
Yeah.
you find it very easily using that
Yes.
technology.
Yes.
Wow, that is
Yes.
the
So we are trying to. So we have close to 6 million users now.
6 million.
Yeah. So what we are trying to do is build the densities so that our community impact is much more.
Wow. And how much time does it take you to find it? What is the average time for you to find the phone or find any lost
So
item?
it's different for different products. Like passport, we find it within 4 hours. So 80% of the passports found were found within 4 hours.
With it. Okay.
Because there is a clear reason that if you see somebody's passport lying, you're not just going to walk away. You're going to see at least what it is and help. So there it's very fast. Keys, it's very quick. Phones. Usually, what happens is if the phone is not charged or it is it is not in the network, that's when it takes the time. But usually within 2, if it's found within 2 days, or it's not found.
Okay.
Because let's assume if it's fallen somewhere which is not very visible, once the battery drains off, it's gone. Then you cannot track it. So if you find it, it's within the first 2 days.
First 2 days. Then there's very less probability of
you finding it.
And track another number is once you've found the phone, and from finding the phone to returning it to the owner, how much time does that take approx?
That again depends upon, if usually phones are lost in the same city.
Same city.
Very few cases we've had where the guy has traveled because he had a flight or a train to catch and he's gone to some other city.
Passports, I believe that happens.
That happens a lot. So that's why I'm saying from product to product, it would be different.
Okay.
But passport, when I said 4 hours, is the discovery. Within 4 hours, it is reported back. And then we have to pick up and deliver. That depends upon the availability and convenience of the owner. And of course, the logistic time up to the owner.
Also, now I'll come to the partnerships. Amazing partnership. Tag8 has a partnership with world's largest logistics company. To name a few, it would be FedEx, DHL, Blue Dart, and etc. So how did this partnership happen? How did you approach them, or did they approach you?
Absolutely. It started by us framing the problem statement, and these companies have been really large-hearted to support. When we were doing these partnerships, e-com was something which was really picking up. So picking up small parcels and delivering very swiftly from anywhere to anywhere was something that these companies were focusing on as well, and that helped us stitch some of these partnerships. Of course, anywhere in the world to anywhere in the world was still a challenge, because you needed a lot of there were a lot of
it means on paper it looks very beautiful.
Yeah.
That you'll find your phone, then you return it in some other cities. But realistically, it is and that's it. And with these partnerships, I'm pretty sure that convincing to get them on board would have been difficult for you.
Yeah, to start with, yes, it was, but it took us about 3 to 6 months to kind of put this in place. There were a lot of nuances which needed to be addressed, but I think it is one of the important pillars today.
At that time, were they ready for this ancillary? Because for them, it must be ancillary services, because the main businesses comes from their logistics team.
Yeah, like I said, they were also evolving. This was a new business that the whole e-com side was really exploding at that point in time. So as part of that, they thought that this could be a good fit, and we were lucky that way.
Okay. So my question on that lines on. So let's say that today I've lost my phone or lost my wallet in some other country, and I'm traveling in other country. So I've intimated you. Does it get directly intimated to them, or you happen to intimate them from the backend? Or let's say I go in my phone and I put in a message, or I communicate to them. I intimate to you, Tag8's team, that I've lost my wallet. So does that intimation reaches to them directly, or everything happens through backend?
Yeah, so you have an option to mark as lost. You can mark your wallet as lost. So So in case of our Dolphin digital series, you don't really need to reach to our call center. In the digital series, first thing you would do is mark as lost. As soon as it is marked as lost, we look at the last seen location and try to see from a community perspective if any updates are coming through. Those updates are available to you as well as a user. So you don't need to reach out to us to know what's happening on the wallet. If there is an update, it will immediately show that okay, my wallet was updated at this location at this time. In case in the other case of a stolen or a somebody finds it and doesn't know how to return, when the finder calls us, and at that point in time we then reach out to the owner and coordinate the return.
Okay, the finder approaches you, and then you coordinate.
That's
I'll come to the rewards which you give. There's
Sure.
a 3-way reward.
Yeah.
I've seen the reviews of
Right,
that and all.
right.
I want to know first. Why don't you give us the brief and what is the reward,
Right.
and what was the rationale behind giving such a reward?
So you will be surprised to that, when Reader's Digest had done a survey, I think this was covering some 15 cities globally. They left wallets which were carrying, $100 equivalent in each of these wallets. They left one in, they picked European cities, American cities, Asian cities. Mumbai, Delhi was part of the Indian cities that were covered. And to everybody's astonishment, Mumbai returned the most number of wallets. If I'm not wrong, 9 out of the 12 wallets that were lost in Mumbai were actually returned. And I think Mumbai came only second to Oslo,
Wow.
where more wallets were returned back than Mumbai. So we thought that this is a great thing to do, returning somebody's wallet. And we said, why don't we reward and recognition program, because all the good deeds are done, but they go unrecognized. So we what we essentially said is we'll give them Tag8 products, worth 2,000 rupees. We have a fixed cash reward which goes to them, and the owner has a option to give a reward or announce a reward upfront.
Okay.
So when we receive the call from the finder, we say, thanks so much.
Sure.
We appreciate his effort, and we also communicate that these are the rewards waiting for him as soon as he returns the product.
Wow. So you're trying to understand that when I'm the finder and I get so with not only returning the product, I'm also getting recognition. So I'm pretty sure that there is a marketing game behind, and also it somewhere helps me another in near future, that if I've lost my wallet, or if somebody has lost their, if I've found it, and it motivates me to give it again. So was this the kind of ideology that you had, or that idea you had?
Yeah, I think the core to it was recognizing the individual. We've had so many cases where the person finding it said, I don't want any reward.
Wow.
And these were not only well-heeled guy, but even taxi drivers. So we had done our own little survey as well. So what we did is we left keys and wallets in different places, stations, bus stands, taxis, etc. And we started getting calls from all around, and many of these taxi drivers refused to take any reward. They said, ये तो काम है, वापस करना, ये हमारी अमानत नहीं है. So those kind of statements really kind of shook us, saying that there is spirit in the city, that people are genuinely wanting to return stuff. And it also comes from the upbringing, the way it is, that even your parents tell you not to pick up anything that you find on the street. Or you put whatever you find, give it to somebody, or put the money in the temple or whatever. So that somewhere is embedded in the culture. So I would kind of say that is one of the reasons why so many people just refuse to take the reward. They said, can't take it.
The certificate, they don't even take the certificate.
They are happy to get the certificate. We even post gratitude online on their social media handles.
Yeah.
We do all of that, and that is the great feel good factor for us and them both. That we are recognizing a good deed, and they feel good that they are getting recognized for something.
Yeah, because rewarding is in fact that every human being likes to get rewarded, and then buy a certificate on finding.
Yes.
That is something unique which I
Right.
I thought about.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So I'll come to sales. I'll
Yeah.
I'll come back to 2015 now.
Yeah.
Selling a product which again has the demand, but again the industry, I'll say that it's very new, it's coming industry. I mean, if I can say, I can clearly put a tag it as among the few companies in the world to come first and be in the industry. So when the industry, I mean, I'd say that by that time the industry was not that much big. It was new, there were new players. So was it difficult for you to sell the products to your customer?
Of course, creating awareness, in any new category that you're trying to create. I remember the first presentation that we were trying to build, to put the whole thought process in place. We're trying to find a title, and so what do we call it? Do we, Lost and Found is a very generic name.
Yeah.
So said, okay, dawn of an industry, saying loss recovery services. Now, it was for the first time, I think, anybody would have. So that is still, is relatively a young segment. Nobody in the country really has touched that space. Globally, yes, there are companies in Switzerland, in US, in Netherlands, Australia. There are companies who are in this space and have been doing great work. But in India, it still remains.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure that there was a lot of assurance selling done, by your end, where you were assuring your customers, to buy this so that, you'll never lose your wallet again. Or was that
Yeah, so
something in your
we
pitch?
knew it's going to be difficult for us in early stages to go direct to consumer. And, because there is a selling process, and, it's difficult for a startup to go and start explaining the concept to thousands of your users.
Yeah.
So we consciously had chosen the B2B2C mode.
Okay.
Which meant that we had to convince the insurance company, we had to convince the travel companies, we had to convince the forex companies to sell on our behalf. And many of them actually embedded it in their proposition.
Yeah.
So we said, that's the way to go for creating awareness in a bootstrapped environment. Otherwise, the other way of doing this, for example, was getting the funding, distribute the tags, create the users, and get that going. But we consciously decided that this is the better way of growing the business more profitably and sustainably.
So I'll come to the first sales, because founders are really attached when it comes to the first sale, and many of them celebrate it, because it kind of gives a relief, that product will work in the market.
Yeah.
So for your first contract, which was what was your first contract? How did
it was a very interesting sales pitch that we did, although the promoter of that eyewear company was very well known to us, but we still had to do a lot of convincing. What proposition we took to him is that he has an eyewear brand which is sold across the country at the airports and so on. We said that, why don't you create a proposition for your buyers where registering the eyewear on our platform would give them the security of not losing their eyewear. At the same time, they get extended warranty for registering. And of course, the benefit of that is that you are creating digital footprints of the customers, so that when the customer loses the eyewear or has to replace the eyewear, you know the customer, and you can have the second sale going, the repeat business can. So that was the broad proposition that we created, and I think we ran this for almost a couple of years, and over 50,000-60,000 registered users as part of the first phase.
Oh wow, that was the
Yeah,
first initially
yeah,
big con.
yeah.
Okay. So when did you feel, like now that we have done B2B2C, B2B2C, and when did you feel that it was the correct time to directly go in? Now I think I can easily buy your products from your website or Amazon or no.
So what we realized is that people are not searching for trackers. When you have to go online, keyword is the king. If people are not searching for it, it's not going to be easy to sell. So we said, let's get into the categories where people are searching. So we are not a wallets company per se.
Yeah.
We are a technology company. So we believe that we are similar to the Intel inside a laptop.
Yeah.
We don't want to get into the laptop, and that's why today we work with OEMs like VIP. We are talking to Samsonite. We are talking to a host of there's a South African company into leather goods manufacturing. There are so all these OEMs, Assembly, who was recently on Shark Tank, is our client. So all these luggage companies, we want kind of be the technology partner with them.
Okay.
Similarly, with wallet companies, want to embed our technology in the wallets, branded wallets that are selling. We are in talks with a lot of these wallet companies who want to incorporate this technology.
Yeah.
So that is our plan. But if you have to go D2C and if you have to create awareness, you need some of the products or merchandise that the consumers are searching for, and that is the reason we are in wallets, we are in passport cases, we are in luggage trackers, and so on. Is because people are searching for it, and that's our way to create awareness about the tracking technology.
So can I say that slowly by slowly you going in D2C market? I mean, focusing on B2B where there is the main crux and all. But then again, for creation of awareness, for because eventually in the meantime, people are thinking about this. People are thinking about securing their mobiles, securing their wallets, making sure that it does not go away, and that too without any hassle. And I think with apps like Amazon and Flipkart, but marketplaces like them, it's very easy for you. So how is your B2C response up until now?
Yeah, see, like I said, what gets searched gets sold, and we see the search volumes in developed markets significantly higher than in say in India, for example.
Okay.
There is almost like a 1000x difference between similar keywords which get searched in
Yeah.
these markets versus in India. So India, we believe that is a very potent market, and that's why we are at it. But we recently launched our US website with the whole of doing D2C in the US, purely for the reasons that the market is more aware
Aware.
about these products.
Okay, so on today's terms, what is your customer acquisition cost in B2B compared to in B2C?
See, we don't measure customer acquisition because let's say if you tie up with one OEM,
Yeah, you.
there is no cost of acquisition
Yeah.
really, because the business goes on for years, and you would have spent 3 months, 4 months trying to convince them about the solution. That really matters in the
B2C.
B2C business, and again, we have such huge variety of products, but on an average I would say between 10 to 20% is our CAC.
CAC. Okay. So also, in you like you said, the B2C market in India is still growing. It's still small compared to what it is in US. So I'm pretty sure that you must be spending great amount on ROAS. Your ROAS must have been a little bit higher.
Yeah, so in Amazon, yeah, so the cost levels, when you start with a new product and launch it, you're basically financing the purchase.
Yeah.
And over a period of time, you kind of learn what keywords are working for you, and essentially fine tune the whole campaign, the performance of the, and you get to a more reasonable
Yeah.
number over a period of time. But yeah, that's and every product has its own learning. It's not like you've cracked for one product and the other product will you have to start all over again for the new product, of course, with all the learnings that you've had of the other products. But you basically discover a stable ACOS after a certain point in time.
Okay, so initially there must be a lot of burning.
Yes, it is controlled burning that you have to do. There, I don't think there is a, unless you have like a absolute rock star product, where it's just flying off the shelves. You have to go through the cycle, in my view.
And also, what I've heard that D2C or B2C, where burning word is liked by everyone. Like you go to VCs, you talk to angel investors and all. They are like, oh, everybody's like okay with the burning part. And when I used to talk this with people in the 40s and the 50s who made kind of small business but a sustainable business, for them burning till today is not a viable option. So you think that is burning okay in when you're directly engaging with the customers, or when you are having a D2C brand?
Yeah, I mean, nobody does it out of choice. Burning is necessary because it's your sales are lagging the awareness. So unless you create awareness, sales will not catch up. So you have to put in that initial investment, or keep doing that investment so that your sales keep growing. Now, what is in your control is how well you manage these ratios, how well you ensure that you're burning a controlled way, which is, if let's say if you have a cash cow, you have a few stars, you have in your typical model. Now, what your appetite to burn if you're bootstrapped, and if you don't want to be in that whole zone of
Yeah.
at a company level, you are burning money. So essentially, you see these are your cash cows. This is the revenue they are generating. You mark certain budget out of that revenue as burn for your stars, who could be your future cash
So
cows.
yeah.
So it is a little time consuming, because you may not have that big budget to make a star into a cash cow.
Yeah.
But that's the difference between being bootstrapped and being funded, is that you can speed up some of these processes if you are funded.
So from a star to a cash cow, obviously there's a lot of burning. But what is a controlled burning? Like when do you think that this is enough? Like this is, because what founders have done, or where they have mistake, is like they've burned a lot, but as against that, the revenue hasn't been generated. So where is the point of saturation that, like, I have to stop burning and to focus on product again, so that my product stands out and I need to burn less? Like, what is that point?
Frankly, it is the gut of the entrepreneur. And the entrepreneur has to be a very, he needs to be aware of the pitfalls of burning too much. He's risking the entire business, the very existence of his business. So it really is dependent from an entrepreneur to an entrepreneur, where he is comfortable drawing that line. But it's that there are no mathematical models which will say that the inflection will happen. It doesn't always follow the typical hockey stick. You don't know when that inflection will happen. You could pretty much be going down, and that you may not see the hockey stick at all.
Okay, so eventually it ends down.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're waiting for that uptick, but it never comes, and then you keep going down. But there are, that's why you do controlled experiments, where even when you're burning, there is a logic to how you burn, how you kind of spread out the risk, how do you minimize risk in certain areas and optimize your burn.
Okay. So, like, I want to talk about you. How did you guys manage the burn? What was your point that yours, I'm going to stop burning. From here on, I'm going to use other forms of marketing, which I'll generally talk about, because the way you market is amazing, and there's a lot to learn from it. But like, when were you sure that this is what is my capacity? This is what cash I have in my bank, and this is what I'm going to burn. So were you predetermined on fixing the margins for burning, or you were like, until or unless I get some decent amount, I'm gonna keep on burning?
So like I said, we when we started off, we started B2B. So what we decided is that the revenues that come from B2B, a part of that will go in burning for creating awareness B2C.
B2C.
So after our initial investments, and we kind of tried to be as self-sustaining as possible. So yeah, we tried to make sure that we don't tip over on the on burning too much.
Founders, matrices go for a toss. And initially, and I also agree that you're so much into building a business that you don't focus on other 10 things. But what is that one metric which you believe that founder should put this on his sleeves? And he should have this metrics, and this metrics has to be correct. Everything, even though it falls apart, but this has to be correct. And this is the key thing according to you, a key metric according to you.
I think there are, different areas as an entrepreneur. There are revenue related metrics, there are cost related metrics, there are experience related metrics. So you cannot focus only on one or two metrics. Yeah, at an overall company level, you can always say that, bottom line is the related metrics are the key metrics. But to operate a company, there are so many moving pieces. Unless you are monitoring all those moving pieces through certain metrics, you will suddenly wake up one day and see that this whole piece is falling apart because you were not monitoring that matrix. So what I would say is that it is not one metric per se, but yeah, you have to identify one or two metrics in every critical area which you are monitoring, and these could be a set of 8 to 10 metrics. Yeah.
So and when you started, you were very keen on like this metrics has to be right.
So it was not very regimented, to be very honest, and it will keep evolving. So as the priorities and the mix of your business changes, your definition of metrics will also change.
So now I want to talk about team building team. So like you said, you started from 4 to 8 and then 20 or people now. So with developing team, obviously the leadership responsibility to increases.
Yeah.
There's you have to be answerable to everybody. So and as while starting, I'm also sure that as even though founders, but you also don't have answer to every question that your employee or the colleague with whom you're working has. So and in that kind of situation, how do you deal? Like what is your way to escalate the situation, and how do you
I'm not sure if I get your question, but essentially, one of the perks of starting late is that you've already managed teams, managed clients, managed situations. Like you said, there could be escalations, there could be, certain critical situations. So the benefit of starting late is that you've somewhere or the other kind of touched upon these areas, and you've seen others or yourself in that situation and how that situation was handled. So there are a lot of learnings when you start late which kind of come to your rescue. But if somebody is starting early, some of these people related challenges could be very important to kind of address, or learn the skills to kind of address them.